chanting this nigun, this wordless melody to bring us together, open our hearts, get us ready for practice. And the words are lai dai dai lai lai dai lai 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 yada dai lai dai lai dai yada dai lai dai yada yada dai lai dai yada da da la da da ya la 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 ya da da la da da la da la ya 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 da da la da da la da 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 ya da da la Welcome, everyone. I am Rabbi Shefa Gold. This is my beloved Rachmiel. And we are so happy to be with you this morning on this very special day. And many months ago, when I received an invitation to come to Minnesota and to a place called the Episcopal Prayer House, which I thought was somewhere near Lake Wobegon, right? It was someplace mythical to me, and I thought, oh, I can't wait to come. And I was, and I decided that I wanted this event to happen on a very special time. And we looked at the calendar, and the solstice was, is a very important moment for me. A moment that that has some power to unfold possibilities, and it's a time of renewal and reflection and gratefulness and abundance. And I thought, oh, this is the time to do it. And then I also saw that it was the weekend of Shabbat, Schlach-l'cha, which is a special Shabbat that is about sending the spies into the promised land to come back with a report, and that report that we come back will determine so much of what comes next. And so every year when we come to Shabbat Schlach-l'cha, I think this is a really important moment to be able to taste that abundance of the flow of milk and honey of the promised land, and to bring this sense, in our spiritual practice, to bring it back to our lives in the wilderness. And so I thought this is such a perfect time for me to come to the Episcopal Prayer House and to be in this interfaith setting, which I think is so holy and so necessary for our times. Mm-hmm. And then, as events unfolded, and I realized that when I wasn't going to be there, I said to Christine, I said, I really want to do a program just for the people who signed up for this retreat, because I'm so grateful that they signed up. And I want to just have to meet them, to give a taste, to step in, to taste that little potential that I glimpsed. So, and then I was asked, well, would you mind if we opened it up? And I realized, oh, my friends in the Jewish community would love to come and meet everybody else. And this is a way really to bring together even more people. It was sort of like a hidden blessing began to unfold, that even more people could come together on this special day. And then, as events unfolded in the last couple of weeks, I realized that this place in Minnesota was like a tragedy unfolded there. And that tragedy actually sent out waves of awakening into the whole country. Into the world. Yeah. That makes me want to cry. And I felt like, what an amazing thing to come there and be with you, and to take those kind of ripples that started with tragedy and go out into the world as an awakening force. And then, as the synchronicity of it is that today is a holiday called Juneteenth, which celebrates the end of slavery. And slavery is not something that just ends in a moment. It's a process, and we're all in that process. And in my tradition, the journey from slavery to freedom is the foundational story. It's the story we remember every single day. It's the story that moves us to find a liberation inside us. And I was reading this morning something from Toni Morrison that said, the function of freedom is to free someone else. The function of freedom is to free someone else. And we learn that, every day we remember we were slaves, and maybe we still are slaves, because none of us are free unless all of us are free. And that was Emma Lazarus. She said, she was a great Jewish women poet, early in the 20th century. And she said, until we're all free, none of us are free. And so we step into this liberation movement of Black Lives Matter, and we are part of it. It's part of who we are as a people, because we're all being liberated from injustice, all of us. So here we are at the confluence of these amazing kind of cycles of abundance, of liberation, of possibility, of challenge, and we come together in this moment to do spiritual practice. And for me, spiritual practice is a way of unlocking the power of the moment, and saying we are not victims of the moment. We are, co-creators with the divine of this new reality. So I want to just take a moment just to let that all sink in. And also, too, I like to do this. I like to look around the Zoom room and look at all the faces and shine your goodwill and your intention for practice, and receive it from each other, and feel, what a force we are. To rebirth in this moment, to see the possibilities, to be inspired, to be empowered, and to recommit ourselves, and in some beautiful way, towards our own liberation and the liberation of the planet. I want to bring just one more part of our kavanah, our intention for this practice this morning. A poem that I read this morning from Patricia Smith, which is a poem for Juneteenth, that touched me. And this is just the last verse of it. She says, "It is a misunderstanding to believe that freedom fell upon us like a blessing, that it was granted by a signature and an abruptly opened door. Listen to the 1,000 ways to say Black out loud. Hear a whole people celebrate their free and fragile lives. Then find your own place inside that song. Make the singing matter." So that's what we want to do this morning. We want to make the singing matter, because that is the unlocking the force that frees all of us, that sends us to the moment of potential, and allows the grace to unfold. If you find yourself unmuted, there's unmute. Everybody, if you find yourself unmuted, please mute, so we have a really good sound here. And Christine, if you could just help me with that also, to notice if somebody's unmuted, to mute them. That would be great. Rachmel's on it too.
Yeah, me too.
So the first practice that I want to engage in with you is a practice that is so has been so important for me. There's a blessing that Jews say when we do something for the first time, or we see something for the first time, or we experience something for the first time. And when I created this practice, I realized, if I was really awake, I could say this blessing every moment of my life, because it's always new. There's some jaded place in me that says, oh yeah, I know. But I don't know. This is a mystery to me. This moment is a mystery that is unfolding. And I want to use it in order to come home, to arrive home inside me. So this, I said this mythical story of Judaism is really about this journey. And, we're always on this journey towards the promised land. And the paradox is that the promised land lives inside us. And at the same time, we're in the struggle. We're on the journey. We're facing the challenges. And at the same time, it's there inside us already. And all we have to do is kind of find our way home to this moment. So the Hebrew part of the prayer says, Shehachiyanu, like, oh, I have lived to this moment. What a moment in the life of this planet. I have lived. I've lived here. V'kiyamanu, and I have been sustained so that I could reach this moment. And v'higiyanu lazman hazeh, and I am arriving in this very moment. And then I wrote these English words that sort of hold the kind of the energy, the intention of the prayer that talks to God, and the most important name of God that I know is, oh mystery, oh mystery, oh mystery, grace unfolding. That's what's happening now. This is grace unfolding, all of it, the difficult parts, the wonderful parts, all of it is grace unfolding. Oh mystery, oh grace unfolding, oh miracle, another name for God. It's you alone. Oh mystery, grace unfolding, oh miracle, who brings us home. And it's only when we get to come home to that promised land inside us that we can become prophets. We can bring back to the world that access to the flow of grace. So we'll chant this for a few minutes. If you want, we're going to chant it both in Hebrew and in English, and chant whatever is accessible and easy for you. Enter into the journey to this present moment, the realization of its potential. Oh, mystery, grace unfolding. Oh, miracle, it's you alone. Oh, mystery, grace unfolding. Oh, miracle, who brings us home. Grace unfolding.
Oh, miracle, it's you alone. Oh, mystery, grace unfolding. Oh, miracle, who brings us home.
Grace I invite you to close your eyes, bring your attention to the breath, and breathe in the power of these words. Let it move you into the miracle of this moment. Let a smile emerge from deep inside. Amen. So for those of you who might be new to the practice of chant, it's an amazing spiritual practice. There's the anatomy of a chant, that there's three parts to it. The first part is the raising of our intention, which in Hebrew is called kavanah, which is the direction that the energy is flowing through us. So we want to get a really clear kavanah, intention for what this is, why we're here, what we're doing. And in that part before the chant, we tune into what is the potential and what is the potential that is between us. I know we're not in person, we're on Zoom, but I've learned that even on Zoom, we connect at the soul level.
Yes.
We create an energy field with our intention. And it's made so much stronger. So that's by that connection. So the first part of that part of the chant really happens before we even open our mouths. The second part of the chant is taking these magic words And these magic words represent a truth that we know but we forget. We know it but we forget it. And so we want to plant that deep inside us through melody, through repetition, through the power of our voices. And what makes a chant work is when you can give it all you got. So during the chant itself, there's a way I've set the intention, and then I want to take this invocation, these magic words, and pour myself into them and give everything I've got to those words. And then the third part of the chant happens in the silence afterwards, when I receive the benefit of the practice. And I open myself up with a sense of heart discernment to receive the benefit of the chant, to walk through the door that the chant has opened. So I want to take those moments in silent reflection to really receive and kind of be lifted up. Let our vibration lift up and into it. So those are the three parts. And one day when we're together, we can practice this again together.
All together,
yeah. But right now, this is what we got. And I am so grateful to be with you. And so this moment of the solstice time, which happens tomorrow, but which we're preparing for, and I woke up really early, before the sun rose, which is pretty early, and just wanted to experience the whole of this long day and to feel its potential. And this is a moment when there's a shift, and it's a time of healing, reflection. Shit. What? Oh, there we are.
Oh, we're back.
Oh,
Wow.
what happened?
Cancel that. Something, we lost the screen for a moment. We thought we lost everybody. But
You still with me,
Oh,
everybody?
good.
Yep, we could see you, and your sound just started going on repeat, so we're all
Okay.
good. Still connected.
Well, maybe it's a sign that I need to repeat this moment. That this moment of the solstice that we're moving towards is a moment of healing, reflection, renewal, abundance, and gratitude to the Creator. We are receiving the fullness of life, the fullness of light. And in Judaism, light is kind of the word that represents consciousness. These are the first words that God says in Torah, Vayhi or, let there be light. And that light of consciousness is what allows us to receive everything else. So we celebrate light, and as spies that we enter into this promised land of the fullness of life, and we want to take it in deeply, so that the whole rest of this rest of the year we can be shining it out. That's how I think about it. It's like I'm absorbing that light, and then we become radiant beings, and we take that light of consciousness and shine it out into the world that needs awakening. The function of freedom is to free someone else. The function of awakening is to be an awakener. And so this is a moment of possibility there at the solstice time. So what I want to do in honor of the solstice is some practices that help us to take in the fullness of life, light, pleasure, all of it, really, to fill ourselves up. And these words from Psalm 16, it says, filling up with the joys of your presence, filling up. And when I do this practice, I'm reminded that this is not my normal state of how I walk through the world usually. I walk through the world just kind of like a quarter tank full. I'm not, and I know that because when I do really take it in, I say, oh, why haven't I been doing this all the time? So it's kind of allowing ourselves to fill up with life force, with light, to take it all in, so that we can be those radiant presences. So we're filling up with joy, and getting a sense that there is a mystery here, a miracle in creation, and we want to take it in, and fill ourselves up. So you can maybe take a moment to look around the room that you're in, at the colors. Look out the window if you have a window nearby, or if you're outside. Look at the miracles that are there that maybe you miss. You know, the burning bush that was burning all along and you didn't see it. You know, and see the beauty, and see if we can make some space inside us. Take it in. Sova, 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 smahod. And sometimes I use a gesture to kind of like, take that light in, take it all inside me. Sova, 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 smahod. Put it inside my heart. Sova, smahod, et panecha. Sova, smahod, et panecha. Sova, 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 smahod. Sova, 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 smahod. Sova, smahod, et panecha. Sova, smahod, et panecha. Filling up. Sova, 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 smahod. Sova, 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 smahod. Sova, smahod, et panecha. Sova, smahod, et panecha. Sova, 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 smahod. Sova, 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 smahod. Sova, smahod, et panecha. Sova, smahod, et panecha. Sova, 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 smahod. Sova, 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 smahod. Sova, smahod, et panecha. Sova, smahod, et panecha. Sova, sova, sova,
panecha, sovas machot et panecha.
And once more, opening up, filling up, making yourself spacious.
Sova,
Sova, Sova,
smachot, Sova, 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 smachot, Sova, smachot, et panecha, Sova, smachot, et panecha.
So close your eyes, bring your attention to the breath. Breathe into that inner space. And feel that inner space just expand with each breath. We carry the whole world inside us. And the joy that we bring into us is what is going to sustain us through difficult times. So let's just step through the door that the chant has opened, receive all of the beauty of our lives. Doesn't that feel good? So you want to just open your eyes, take a look around the room and fill up with the beautiful faces, the presence of God through each of us that we radiate. Take that in. Some people are just our names, but their names are powerful too, I suppose. But there's a lot of faces here to take in the God light. I always say that each of us is a kind of a refraction of God light that is unique, and that God light is shining through each of us in a different color, a different refraction. So I want to take it all in. I would say the foundational practice of Judaism is gratefulness, and it's the first thing that we say in the morning when we wake up is thank you, and it sort of sets the tone for the day. And the word for Jew, in Hebrew, Yehudim, actually has that root of gratefulness in it. So it means the grateful ones, the grateful ones. You thought we were the complainers.
Surprise,
Yeah. No, we are the grateful ones, and gratefulness is our resource. Meister Eckhart said that if the only prayer that you ever say in your whole life is thank you, that would be enough. But since we like words, we like saying lots and lots and lots of more words. But if that was the only word that you said, the only prayer you said, that would be enough. Because it connects us to both our receptivity and generosity. The more that we can receive the gift of our lives, the more that we can allow that gift to flow through us as generosity, and that generosity takes the form of kindness and justice and beauty and creativity. So we want to be able to be clear channels for that flow. And the first really thing that we need to do is show up. And we need to show up in our wholeness. And so this practice that we want to do is called wholehearted. And wholehearted is the opposite of half-assed. It's like, I want to walk through my life just like totally, I want to be present for what is. I don't want to stand back. And mostly my standing back comes from fear and I don't want to leave from that place. I want to show up in my wholeness, and I want to feel that wholeheartedness. And gratefulness is something that can help me to find that, to really give myself to a practice of gratefulness each day. Gratefulness not just for the blessings of my life, but also for the challenges that I'm given. And I make it a practice every night when I've worked really hard during the day. Instead of saying like, "Oh, I worked so hard today," I say, "Oh, thank you so much for this opportunity to serve." It's like this work is what we were born for, right? It's easy to forget. So I want to chant the word Odeh, and if you're unfamiliar with the Hebrew, just repeat after me. Odeh
Odeya.
Bechol libi.
Bechol libi.
Thank you.
I'm standing in for all of you repeating it.
So I thank Odeya as I thank God, and that Yah is the same sound from Hallelujah. It's a name of God that is wonderful because it doesn't have gender to it, and it's and it's a very ancient name of God. So Odeya, I thank God, Bechol libi, with my whole heart, with all of me. So I think of this, this moment of the solstice, and also the moment of stepping into the promised land, and seeing the glimpse, and then being able to be in that place of gratefulness, even for the challenges, so that when we come back to our friends, we can say, "Yeah, we could do this. This is possible. We can go into this promised place of the promised land together." So, what happens in the story is that 10 of the 12 spies give a report that is so discouraging, and people just are sort of freaked out by it. And so they spend another 40 years purifying themselves in the wilderness, dying off, so that they can really receive this sense of possibility. And and two of the spies actually give a report that says, "Wow," in so many words. It says, "Wow," and if we listened to them, we would be so inspired, and we'd say, "Let's go, let's go." And of course, where we go is in here, because that's where the promised land is. So let's come into wholeheartedness with this practice. Odeya bechol libi, Odeya bechol libi, Odeya bechol libi, Odeya bechol libi, Odeya, Odeya bechol libi, bechol libi, Odeya, Odeya bechol libi, bechol libi, Odeya, Odeya bechol libi, bechol libi, Odeya bechol libi, Odeya, give it your all, bechol libi, As we enter in the silence, imagine breathing into your heart and finding that wholeness inside. Kind of sense inside you of I'm all in, not holding back. Fully present in this moment, in this body. Present to the opportunity at hand. Invite you just to breathe into that sense of possibility there that this moment holds. So I look around this Zoom room and I realize, that each of us has a different job to do. When I say job to do, it's like, how do you become self-realized, or like find what your soul's purpose is, and bring all of your joy to it. I think that some of our suffering, and maybe I can speak for myself, some of my suffering is when I'm trying to do somebody else's job, and I think I'm supposed to do something, but actually I've missed what it is that I'm here to do and to bring forth into the world. And staying true to that is staying true to the divine image in me. I have this sign over my computer here from a quote from Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel that says, "The core of freedom is to be loyal to our inner essence, to the Tselem Elohim, the divine image that is within us." When we betray ourselves, when we lose track of what our job is, what we were meant to do and bring into the world, we are betraying that divine image in each of us. So, so these words that I want to chant, it says Romamu. Romamu. It's a beautiful word that means to raise up, to lift up. And and I feel like part of our spiritual practice is taking all of the, it's like we receive so much. We're sort of inundated with information and ideas and all kinds of things, and we need to find that kernel, that spark in us of our true essence, and lift it up. And so Romamu, and there's three words in Hebrew that I'll teach you. That Romamu is that lifting up what we do, and it's sort of like the command to say, no, lift that up, lift yourself up. So Romamu, and then there's a word that is a four-letter, unpronounceable name of God. It's a four-letter, and we can't pronounce it, but we can kind of use different substitutions that represent different aspects of the great mystery. So in this chant, we actually use three different names of God that represent that unpronounceable one. And the first one is the name Havaya. And the name Havaya is a name of God that kind of builds on the letters of that four-letter name, but really represents the ground of being itself. That the God as being. And we want to lift that up. Lift up, I think of it lifting up the miracle of existence itself. We can either see everything that is created, or we can see the miracle that anything is created at all. So Havaya is like the ground of being itself. And then the second name we use is Adonai. And this is kind of the traditional thing that people say when they see those four letters. They say Adonai without thinking much, and I instead of being an automatic, I want to say Adonai is a word that means mastery. So that aspect of God, which is mastery, that I want to lift that up inside me. So, and then the third name of God that we lift up is Shekhinah, which is the feminine, immanent, divine presence that is buried in all things, that is there, but hidden sometimes. And we need actually to be able to be in relationship with Shekhinah and lift her up. So that's what we're lifting up, and Eloheinu is saying that all of this is our God. All of this is ours to be in relationship, to be embraced by, and to embrace. So those are the Hebrew words, and I love Hebrew so much. It's such a language of invocation. Meaning, when I say a Hebrew word, I'm not talking about something, I'm calling it into being. I call it abracadabra, abracadabra, which is an Aramaic term that means I will create as I say. So that's what we're doing when we're chanting. We're calling forth a reality. You can see I get a little bit megalomania when I'm chanting, but I believe in the practice to change to change my DNA, to sort of open me up in ways that nothing else can. So, so the words that I say in English are raise up the truth, lift up our love, honor the God within us, which is, I think, what we're doing when we sing these words, Romamo. So I'd like to chant these words together, and to at the end of the chant, I'd like you to reach inside you and find like, what is the truth that you want to lift up? What is the unique contribution that you want to make at this moment? A commitment to that contribution that you want to make in this moment. What is the beauty that you want to lift up? What is it? What emerges? And take the first thing that comes up in you, and then we're going to go into breakout rooms for a little sharing of what that is. Because when you are witnessed by somebody else, it becomes even more powerful. That vision sets you on a path with by being witnessed. So we'll chant these words, and then we're going to take a few minutes and maybe go into, Christine, how many groups do we go into? There's 80 participants here, and maybe if we were going to say groups of 3 or 4, somebody, you want to do the math?
Yeah, I'll do the math.
Oh, so do you want to do the breakout groups then? Okay.
Sure, I can do it.
Okay, Christine will do it. All right. I'm glad. So, so again, we'll make the chant happen. In the silence after the chant, I'll just guide you into a question, and then allow whatever it is that wants to come up inside you to be revealed. Ramamu Havaya Eloheinu, Ramamu Havaya Eloheinu, Ramamu Havaya Eloheinu, Ramamu Havaya Eloheinu, Ramamu Adonai Eloheinu, Ramamu Adonai Eloheinu, Ramamu Adonai Eloheinu, Ramamu Adonai Eloheinu, Ramamu Shekhinah Eloheinu, Ramamu Shekhinah Eloheinu, Ramamu Shekhinah Eloheinu, Ramamu Shekhinah Eloheinu,
Ramamu
raise up the
Havaya
truth, lift up our love,
Ramamu
honor the
Havaya
God within us.
Ramamu
Raise up the
Havaya
truth, lift up our love,
Ramamu
honor the
Havaya
God
Eloheinu.
within us.
Ramamu
Raise up the
Adonai
truth, lift up our
Eloheinu.
love,
Ramamu
honor the
Adonai
God within
Eloheinu.
us.
Ramamu
Raise up the
Adonai
truth,
Eloheinu.
lift up our love,
Ramamu
honor the
Adonai
God within
Eloheinu.
us.
Ramamu Shekinah,
Lift up our
Eloheinu,
love.
Romamu
Honor the
Shekinah,
God within
Eloheinu,
us.
Romamu
Raise up the
Shekinah,
truth. Lift up our
Eloheinu,
love.
Romamu
Honor the
Shekinah,
God within
Eloheinu,
us.
Romamu
Raise up the
Havaya,
truth. Lift up our
Eloheinu,
love.
Romamu
Honor the
Havaya,
God within
Eloheinu,
us.
Romamu
Raise up the
Havaya,
truth. Lift up our
Eloheinu,
love.
Romamu
Honor the
Havaya,
God within
Eloheinu,
us.
Romamu
Raise up the
Adonai,
truth. Lift up our
Eloheinu,
love.
Romamu
Honor the
Adonai,
God within
Eloheinu,
us.
Romamu
Raise up the
Adonai,
truth. Lift up our
Eloheinu,
love.
Romamu
Honor the
Adonai,
God within
Eloheinu,
us.
Romamu
Raise up the
Shekinah,
truth. Lift up our
Eloheinu,
love.
Romamu
Honor the
Shekinah,
God within
Eloheinu,
us.
Romamu
Raise up the
Shekinah,
truth. Lift up our love.
Eloheinu, Romamu
Honor the
Shekinah,
God within
Eloheinu.
us. Close your eyes. Bring your attention to the breath. Breathe into the heart. Allow the heart to give you a message. What is it that you want to raise up? What is the truth that is so dear to you that needs to be raised up in this moment? What is that place of beauty and love? Where is the commitment that wants to emerge from you as we step into the fullness of this moment? Just notice the feeling, the images, the words that are in your heart. And Christine's going to send us into groups of 3 or 4. You can introduce yourselves, take turns sharing. We'll be there for maybe 8-10 minutes or something like that.
And Shaka, just so you know, I don't have the option on the bottom of my screen, so you'll have to do it. But the number is 17 rooms.
How many rooms?
17 rooms.
Okay.
All right, we can do
Oh,
it.
there it is.
All right, we'll do it. See you in a bit. And that one and that one. Yeah, this one.
Oh,
Mute. Okay.
this person.
One more. Yeah.
Eloheinu, Romamu Havaya, Eloheinu, Romamu Havaya, Eloheinu, Romamu Havaya,
Raise up the truth. welcome back. Almost everybody came back. I'm glad you all got to meet each other. Some people here, some beautiful people here. So I want to we just have a short time left. I wanted to do a couple practices that, and one is a practice I call comfort, because I realize that it's so important that I take care of my heart, that I notice what my heart needs, and allow that my heart to be fed, to be nurtured. There is there is a flow from the great mystery that comes through each other, through this world, and it is the flow of comfort. And so the prophet Isaiah uses these words, which are nachamu, nachamu, nachamu ami, which is comfort, comfort my people. And to take that energy and really to be able to calm the heart that has been alarmed and startled, which happens almost every day when I read the news. It's like, there's a kind of a tumult in the heart, and unless my heart is settled, I can't actually have access to that divine flow through me. And the other day in my meditation, these words came to me, and that were somebody else's words I knew, that says, "My heart is restless until it rests in you." And I went to the computer and looked it up, and it was like, oh, it's St. Augustine. Why is St. Augustine talking to me today?
You never know.
My heart is restless until it rests in you. And it just reminded me of like, oh, that's my responsibility. My practice is to calm the restless heart, to let it settle, to receive the comfort, and then I can have access again. Then I can be the channel that I want to be. So I want to chant these words in 3 different ways. And the 3 ways I like to chant it is that first I want to chant it and allow that chant to penetrate places in my own heart that need comforting. And I'm chanting it to myself. I'm allowing God to chant it through my own voice to me, and I'm taking in that comfort. And the second time that we chant it, we'll open up our eyes and look at the faces that are here in the Zoom room with us, and chant it to each other so that we are sending God's comfort through us to each other. And the third time we chant it, we'll chant it out into the world, saying that what we raise here between us is really important that it be sent out into the world. And we don't want to keep it here. We want it to ripple out.
And remember that the word comfort is come plus fort. It's with strength. So we're truly strengthening each other by comforting, if we do it the right way, so that we're able to go through the challenges that we're facing.
Okay. So let us so the first repetition, just focus in on your own heart. You might even want to put your hand on your heart and feel the places where that restless heart, or that disturbed heart needs comfort. Nachamu ami, nachamu open our eyes and look at the faces that are here in the Zoom room with us, send it out to each other. Nachamu, Nachamu Ami, Nachamu, Nachamu Ami, So now, let's just see if we can widen the field. Imagine all of those who are in need of comfort at this moment, and we'll chant it out to the world. Nachamu, Nachamu Ami, Nachamu, Nachamu Ami, Nachamu, 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 Nachamu Ami. Let's come back to ourselves again. Put a hand on your heart. We'll chant it one last time, and this time really feel it penetrate your defenses. Sort of sink deeply, deeply inside you, a sense of fundamental well-being. Nachamu, Nachamu Ami, Nachamu, Nachamu Ami, Nachamu, 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 Nachamu Ami. And in the silence, let that comfort sink in, deeply penetrate. Breathe it into the places that need it inside you. Man. So we're gonna end with one last chant that is calling in the qualities of love, and clarity, and power. And these are words from the Jewish liturgy, part of the service called the Kedusha, which is really when we open up to the angelic realms, really, and sort of let the veils between the worlds be thin, so that we can receive the blessing of all the worlds. So I thought it would be a good chant to end with. So we'll go out with that. And what I'm going to ask those who had signed up for the retreat to stay on, so we can meet each other, and everybody else to go off and be blessed by our time together. And I wanted just to say that invite you to come to my website for resources, other possibilities of ways that, classes that I'm teaching, there's a class that I'll be teaching through Kripalu, which is a yoga center on the East Coast, that is called Gardening in the Soil of the Heart. Gratefulness, courage, compassion, and joy. And it's a class that I would love to see you there if you feel like wanting to continue work that is kind of like this, and to keep deepening it. And one day I'm going to come to Minnesota
Yay.
and be with you.
To the Episcopal Prayer House.
Rachel, you want to
And I'll
come
have to come too. I usually
Okay.
don't travel much, but we'll work it out. We'll work it out.
So anyway, it's been really wonderful to be with you. I want to thank the Episcopal Prayer House and Christine and Patricia and all the people there who had the vision to be able to invite me, and I feel like connected. I feel like we're in it for the long haul. That we'll be and that doing this work together is so important and amazing that we share these sacred texts. And each tradition has a different way of approaching a text, and so we learn so much from each other in that way. And I learn about my own tradition by teaching it to somebody else, because I see things I never saw before when I do that. And so I'm hoping, creating these connections between us and between all of you, that you will all stay connected and feel like you are welcome there at the Episcopal Prayer House as well. And did you want to say a word before we do the last chant, Christy?
Yeah, just to echo the word of welcome, I would even give a head nod to someone who's on the line with us, Mio. Oh, is a friend of the Episcopal House of Prayer, and she's the one that made the connection for us. And she even offers a third tradition, practicing as a Zen Buddhist priest. And so there are lots of lovely connections here. And we do hope to keep nurturing those, holding the space out here in rural Minnesota, but to keep offering space for the holy to make its power and love known in the world, and to extend that welcome, as you said, Shefa, making new connections and strengthening ones that have already been made. So welcome to you all, and thanks for being with us.
And I think that the Episcopal Prayer House is going to send out just a letter afterwards, just, maybe if there's any responses, any ways, that you want to stay connected, that'll happen.
And Shefa's website is rabbishefagold.com. Very easy.
Yep. And I just popped both of those into the chat, so if you want to
great.
see those, you can see those in the chat section.
So we'll chant these words. Kulam ahuvim.
This is the Kulam Ahuvim.
Kulam berurim.
Kulam Berurim.
Kulam giborim.
Kulam Giborim.
So all love, all clarity, all power. And that will be our blessing for each other. And
we call it the angel anthem.
We do?
I do.
Kulam ahuvim, kulam berurim, kulam gibarim, all love, all clarity, all power, all love, all clarity, all power. All love, all clarity, all